Welcome to PerotCharts.com. This website was developed for one reason: to provide accurate information to every citizen about the serious economic problems facing our country. Think of this site as an instrument panel or a dashboard that will let every American know the financial information that will determine our country's future. We live in the greatest country in the history of man. We've been so successful for so long that we now take our success for granted. Today, our great country is at a critical turning point. Not since the Great Depression have we seen an economic crisis of the magnitude that we are facing today. Our enormous national debt reached almost $9.4 trillion on April 30th of this year, and it is increasing by over $1 billion every day. We are leaving our children and grandchildren with a burden they cannot possibly manage. Today, more than one-half of the federal budget is committed to mandatory spending programs such as Social Security and Medicare. These programs have grown steadily over the years as a result of our aging population and rising health care costs. The expenditures will become even greater as more baby boomers retire. There are other problems confronting the nation that need to be addressed, but unless we solve the fundamental issues raised by entitlement spending, there will be little money left to meet future challenges that do not even exist today. The good news is that Americans are resilient and resourceful and have always responded unselfishly in a crisis. We have established this site for one reason: to give every citizen access to this information. So what can you do? If you're convinced we need action, please contact your congressmen and senators in Washington and urge them to become actively involved. Also sign up on our website for updates and new information. Thank you for visiting PerotCharts.com. We encourage your comments about the charts. Any suggestions for improving the site are welcome. Please let us know if you believe that any of these numbers are not correct and provide us with your sources. Also let us know if you feel we have not included numbers or information on other matters that are important. Hardworking, tough people created our country. They came to America to be free and to practice the religion of their choice. The Pioneer's Creed sums it up: the cowards never started, the weak died on the way, and only the strong survived. We must be as courageous and committed as they were. It is our responsibility to pass along a better, stronger country to our children, and we must start immediately. To quote Winston Churchill, we need action this day. Today I have Mike Poss with me. He and I have worked together for years. He's a wonderful man, extremely talented, a man of the highest moral and ethical standards, and his whole mission, driven by himself, is to make sure that everything on this site is accurate. Mike has done wonderful work on this site, and I couldn't be more proud of him, but I want to make sure you understand who deserves the full credit for everything you get to look at, study, and analyze. It's my privilege to introduce Mike Poss.
Thank you for the kind words, Ross, and thank you for the opportunity to develop this website, as well as making available resources to make it happen. Now, you've used some large numbers in your presentation, billions of dollars and trillions of dollars. I was wondering if you might have some examples to put these numbers into perspective for us.
Well, I hope this will work. Using $9.4 trillion, that's our national debt. If Congress put $1 a second into a special account, it would take over 297,000 years to have enough money to pay off the debt. Now, let's assume that Congress is going to load dollar bills onto boxcars to pay off the debt. The length of the train pulling these boxcars with $9.4 trillion would be almost 1,400 miles long. Now, if you could take the dollar bills end on end from the Earth to the moon and back, it would take just over 1,900 round trips to pay off the debt. I hope that gives you a good example of just how big the debt is.
Now, I know you've spoken many times in the past about your love for this country and the principles on which it was founded. I was wondering if you had 3 wishes for the American public today, what would they be?
If I had one, it would be a strong, moral, ethical base where people keep their commitments, do what they say they will do. That's what we had when I grew up in the Depression. The second would be a strong family unit in every home so that the children get the ultimate support. Sadly, we have over a 50% divorce rate now. The third and final, but very important, would be to have the finest public schools in the world. Believe it or not, we had those during the Depression. Today, our public schools rank at the bottom of the industrial world. And to give you an example of that, go to our most elite engineering schools like Caltech and MIT. Look to see who's getting the PhDs in engineering. 80% come from either China or India. 18% come from nations all over the world. I'm up to 98% now. 2% come from the good old USA. Now, what does that say about our future? Because we don't have good public education. We've got to get focused on what's important and get those things done.
Ross, you've hit upon many challenges facing our country, and this website was built to continue that dialogue. Thank you very much for having me on.
Well, my privilege, and thank you and your team for the wonderful job you've done in creating this site for the American people.
Thank you.